This video goes over the subtopic capabilities of TransActPOS and sales orders and quotes. So here is an example of a quote with a listing of products. There's some wood materials, drywall, and other sundry items. What would be nice would be to present subtotals for each of these categories. So TransAct is capable of doing that. It is through a sequence of selecting the top line, which is that cedar product, right-clicking on that item and selecting Insert Above. You're going to insert above an item called Group Underscore Total. That Group Underscore Total will then have a description, in this case, wood materials. And you would insert above each group of items that group total record and give it a name. So what that looks like, when you're finished, you will have, in this example, of wood materials, drywall materials, and miscellaneous, and their subtotals. So each of these lines, and in this particular case, group total, the item is not shown just to simplify it on the screen. So it shows those items and a subtotal. This record, which is the subtotal line, is automatic. It's placed in there because there's another subtotal right behind it or right below it. So that's the sort of the sequence of events. You can get a subtotal by also inserting a group stop, and I'll explain that at the end of this video. But let's go on and show you this process in actual TransAct. So let's continue on into the data that I've created. It was under a quote at the bottom of this listing. And there's the particular quote. If we go to the detail page, we'll see that it is simply this listing of items. So again, what we'll do is right-click. Now when we're edit mode, right-click on that line, and we'll see the greater than signs appear there, so we know what selection we are, and also it's in blue. We'll select Insert Above, and we're going to type in Group Underscore Total, and that's whatever SKU you've made that group total. So there it is, or Group Start, my mistake. And then we'll give it a name, and however you want it to look like. So there that is. If we stopped right there and did preview, now preview is a function when you're outside of, when you haven't saved, you have not saved, it's in a preview mode, so you can quickly go see this unsaved information. So it starts here and it ends there. It's end of data, so it gives a subtotal. So if we go and add at those breaks where we want to go right above this 5 gallon. I'm going to right click, insert above, the group start. If we stopped right there and looked at what do we have, we should see a subtotal above that group start. We started on this 4.5 gallon, and there's my totals. Structurally, what happens is that we've added some indicator that these are all within this group. So if you're looking through, you see that function as we choose. Now these down here are a bit odd, but that's a programming thing that will clear itself here in just a second. So if we go detail, we go further down this list. Let's get right above those galvanized nails, insert above, and we'll put another group total in here. And there is the miscellaneous. And let's go in here, let's change this description. This is the drywall group. So we can change that around. Now, if we go back out to main and preview, we should see a structure that we desire. So there is a group start or group total, whatever SKU you want to give that name. Automatic is right here because insert the new group total begins here. So those by default that appears. And it goes on down. Now, the other thing you can do is you can force a stop in the middle of a group. What that does is initiates a new total. So if I wanted to go right here in above this drywall materials and add an independent line outside of groups, what you can do is this, is if I go back to the detail page and I want to go right above, I'm going to break this grouping right here. I'm going to insert above. I'm going to tell the system, I'll tell a stop. That's all I need to really, oops, sorry. I did the wrong item. I'm still at that spot. I'm going to do right click, excuse me, right click above group stop. And I want to put on top of this right in here, I'm just inserting above. And I'm going to bring up any miscellaneous item. Let's go find some chain or something like that. Any item, that's fine. So now if I go look at preview, I now have put in between these subtotal, beginning of total, subtotal, I've put a separate item. The reasoning for these highlights here, these hyphens, is that these items are within this group. This item, as you're viewing down through here, oh, that item is independent of the total. So this total plus that, plus this one, plus that subtotal matches this total. So it's a way of quickly seeing, oh, those are all grouped items to that total. Well, here's a separate non-grouped item. So when you go and look at, you can understand what is subtotaled and what is not. How often a group stop is being used all depends on what your structure of your quotes. So you can insert these breaks in between groups by the use of a stop. One other important topic we need to review before leaving this section is that under IC inventory file, what do those items look like? So if we have a group underscore here, there are two elements that we were using, group stop, start, and group stop. A group start has a comment as the item type, and the matrix uses group subtotal. That's the function that makes that beginning and then subtotal action. The other SKU, group stop, is again a comment, but it has a matrix of group stop. Now, it does not matter what you call this. We came up with simply group start, group stop. You can name it whatever you choose, but the important part is the comment and then the various matrix elements that are related to that, as one's the subtotal, start, and then the other, the stop, is the group stop matrix. Thank you.